Hello, YouTube fans and followers of my channel, and welcome back to another top 3 most forgettable and mediocre Loud House episodes from Season 2. Alright, this time it is Season 2, which is kind of considered one of the best seasons right next to Season 3 in mine, but there were a few forgettable, mediocre, and uninteresting episodes in my case. And I think it's best if I did do top 3 instead of doing top 7, because obviously there's kind of like less mediocre episodes and more good and bad episodes from each season, And I have been real hyped about doing this one ever since I did the Season 1 mediocre, forgettable episodes.
And this is the thanks I get. This is the thanks I get.
Pets peeve. Yeah, I clearly saw this one actually coming a mile away, because honestly, I really have not too much interest with the pets episodes. I really focus on them very much. I mean, Lovebirds is actually okay with me, but this one I kind of forget so much about it. It's about like Lana actually bringing a new pet home, and actually the Loud pets are actually so jealous, they try to send him away, and then they end up rescuing him later on. And it turns out the little fluff ball, little Pomeranian, actually belongs to a little girl. And I was like, dang it, I really wish that they could actually adapt with this new pet in the family so they could actually start changing the Loud House a little bit. But they gotta be so much like the Simpsons and Family Guy, where people don't learn so much shit from it, and they're just kind of keeping the show standard, but at least they got to change so much things in the future later on when Lori actually goes to college and the characters do actually age up. But in an episode like this, I really don't find myself with that much taste of an episode like this. Because honestly, I actually felt like I was watching a Secret Life of Pets kind of episode, and I'm really not a fan of that movie either. But it was good to actually see Snoopy actually make a cameo appearance in this episode.
And this is the thanks I get.
Future tense. So for this episode, as I reviewed long ago, these new neighbors that are actually smiling and grinning like a bunch of creepy Cheshire cats are introduced to the Loud House and have to make their kids well-rounded, and the Louds become so hypocritical that they gotta make their kids feel perfect and actually gotta do so much things about what the freaking Yate family does. There were some fun moments I got to see where Lynn's actually wearing glasses, Lucy feeling like she's a basketball player so much. And some of the rest of the episodes just bore me, like it kind of drags a bit. Like every time when they want to take a break from something, the parents decide to be hypocritical and let their kids just go out and do so much things like picking up trash along the freeway or highway, going to an opera show, which kind of bores me a lot. Unless it's this kind of opera. And not to say the least, that Lincoln came a little bit unlikable at one point in this episode, where he feels like, I knew I was the only child and being one of your personal favorite. It's kind of a bit of a repeat render what he said back in Ties That Bind.
Wow, I've always wondered what it would be like to be an only child.
There's a bunch of shit I kind of really overlook so much, like the Yates family. I can't remember a single kid's name in that family, and they never show up so much again. That is until the family of spies actually came around, and then suddenly they disappear all of a sudden. I can't even imagine about what the next family is going to show up and really disappear off into again. Are they really going to have so much good neighbors or not? Because I feel like Mr. Grouse is kind of tired of the Louds and actually wants some new neighbors for a change. I can see the future, but I don't see this episode actually being one of the top favorite or best episodes on the list of Season 2.
And this is the thanks I get.
And for the number 1 most forgettable, mediocre, uninteresting episode that I forgot the most of all time would go to Snow Way Down. Yeah, I bet most of you don't remember so much this episode actually being in Season 2. Not to mention that this was the end of Season 2. So it feels like Clyde's dads are being so much overprotective once more again, as they repeated themselves with Runaway McBride. And Clyde has really actually wanted to go extreme more measures to actually go slope down a hill. And turns out that he's not so much afraid of heights after all when he actually succeeds to overcome it. But somewhat, this kind of derails and Flannerizes him later on in Don't Ask Cargo. And he said that he's so much afraid of heights, but really, he actually handled it But wait a minute. In Dan Stan's resolution, he was kind of getting air sickness, so he's afraid of being in high places. I mean, come on, what kind of character is Clyde? Is he afraid of heights? Is he not afraid of heights? Did he overcome it? I mean, Just because he's a side character and the best friend of Lincoln, that doesn't mean you gotta treat him so much like crap and overshadow him too much. He deserves to have a well-developed sense of character like he did in Game Boy's Overnight Success, and maybe a little bit with Baby Steps. But an episode like this with Clyde and his dad, I totally forgot I even watched the episode until I looked back on it when I was reviewing Runaway McBride. This had been my top 3 most unforgettable, mediocre, uninteresting episodes that I couldn't even watch so much over and over again like I do with my top 7 favorite or at least hateable episodes I wouldn't even go and watch again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as you did with the last one, and I can see you guys the next time. Hopefully for season 3 if you're around.
I don't have a tattoo. Was I off key?